I'm gonna have to do this right now before I do any of my other house duties. So, and I'm in the mood right now. So, Dark Fan Friday, shadow work, global collective shadow work. We need to face our triggers. We need to face the things that make us uncomfortable, because now is the time to actually shift consciously instead of shifting unconsciously and spiraling. A lot of people have been falling into the realms of their levels of self-hatred. And by self-hatred, I mean negative self-talk. I mean self-harm in the form of eating, gluttony, poisoning the body, numbing the system so that they can't feel it. And then randomly getting diagnosed with illness, disease, acting out in acts of violence, yelling, not knowing their capacity of their nervous system to handle different levels of stress. Okay? This being said, you can see it externally in how we are handling the fact that we are at war, and we've been at war for quite some time. In the essence that we have forgotten that we are all one on this earth, working with this earth, and the earth doesn't need us, so we can actually drive ourselves crazy and kill ourselves in the forms of war, in the forms of hatred, or we can harmonize. We can find out where it is that we're feeling attacked, where we're feeling violated, and not transpose those onto another person, another culture or race, another class of people, classes having been created as a false system of identification and separation. And so the Babel, the fall of Babylon, Tower of Babel. Keep on talking, and you won't hear and see what's actually going on. So slow down and take account for what it is that you wish to change. Bluntly, this has to do with what I'm seeing in terms of racist acts around the world. An entire culture of people, the Jewish people, and then they transpose that to the Israeli people, which is completely separate in essence, because you can be Jewish and not from Israel directly, and you can also be those of Israel, those of the land that's of that region, those of Palestine. We're dealing with a bully outright who's heavily triggered at all Palestinians, because I'm watching racist acts act out. Same thing we did with other Muslim cultures when 9/11 happened, right? We started attacking every person where we felt this, and I say we because this is part of my collective and I'm talking to you so you could hear what I'm saying. We felt under attack, so we attacked first when there was nothing to attack. That person wasn't carrying that energy, but because we were carrying this strife, this inner turmoil, these non-acknowledgements from our ancestors, the ones who were at war, the ones who were persecuted, the ones who held this anger, and some of the ones who actually did the persecution. All of this is held within the blood, and this can be easily triggered if the person is unconscious of their tendencies and where they've come from and those tendencies. And when real history is suppressed and muted and denied, and deep magics are put on the people in forms of religious rites, in forms of having and forced to be in the army, having it forced to learn a certain type of history, which is propaganda, and all of us have learned propaganda, especially us here in the U.S. You look at the gaslighting and the propaganda that has been put on the people for them to feel so worthless, or for so small. It's mind-boggling why people are still attacking people for being brown. Because of what? Because they had money at some point, because you like to feel superior to someone else, because you want to feel like you're winning, you're on a winning side. Well, the thing is, there is no winning side if there's a losing side, because it's cyclical. But we can all benefit, we can all enjoy games and challenges. But true battle is the battle within the mind to actually create a pleasant place for all children, for us to grow, for us to become who we're truly meant to be. So I want you to grasp this. It's in your control. The song is sung. It is in your personal control to learn where you've been triggered, to forgive that maybe you've hurt people. Maybe your past has hurt people. But right now, we're in a state of healing and nurturing and growing. Because, quite frankly, it's a little bit of a shit show. Which means something is off balance. And that's okay. Slow down, take time to rebalance it, to be able to listen and hear. And yes, you're never going to be perfect because you weren't made perfect, but you can design a more better, a more perfect union with the self, with the I am presence, with humanity itself. So I implore you, slow down, seek the divinity within, seek the divinity with your neighbors of like-minded faiths and spirits, and also uplift all of humanity. Just uplift it. Get over all the bullshit about, oh, well, they're terrible because they're this or they're that. No, uplift it. But where you feel safe, where you feel comfortable in your boundaries, you can expand those boundaries as you start to see that the world itself is coming together around it for you. However, in that time space, people do not have to agree with you, and they're not. That's the essential part of nature. However, it's what we do that matters, right? People have their perspectives because they were taught a certain way, they were exposed to certain type of information. Not everyone is on a clear cognizant level, and that's all right. The next step is appreciating who you are and where you are with what you have, doing what you can. That sounded like a lot, but it actually is a very simple way of being. Now, this all means you have to look at the shadow. You have to look at where you came from, considering the source of who you are and your information and what you have collected and your exposure societally, culturally, economically, and blah, 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 blah. And allow yourself to expand into more. Trust. Take deep breaths. Anchor in this moment. See this little massage I'm giving myself? It's on purpose. It's for my system to regulate, for my lymph to drain. I'm appreciating my temple, where I am, using what I have. I happen to have some nice body oils. Let me know if you want to get some. But trust, because this is our time. Rise up, rise up, rise up. Ciao for now. Enjoy your Dark Feminine Friday. Venus is in